Good day, guys. Saturn in Gemini in the first house. So how do I feel this position? You are a shapeshifter. You are a chameleon. You're a mime. You're a magician. Why do I say all of that? Because we are dealing with Gemini energy in the first. So Gemini energy is quick. It's lightning fast. The mind is always busy. It's always firing. It's like, ah, la, 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 la. That's Gemini. Always something, always some kind of looking for the next interesting thing, curiosity. The mind is sharp, it's quick, it's witty. If we connect it to the first house is also the body, it's your expression. So the reason I said shapeshifter and all those things is because your mind is connected to your body. Now, we all have our mind connected to our body, but in your case, the rapid movement of your mind, the rapid firing of your neurons translates beautifully into your body, into your expression. So just as this is moving really fast and it's like this, the body will reflect that. So either in your face, you'll have like a ton of facial expressions and people will be like, you'll be like every one of your movements is a picture in itself. Every one of your movements is a frame. And the next one, and they're all exciting. And you can do this, and then you can do this, and you can do this, and it all depends on what's going on here. Whatever you are thinking about, whatever's firing, the neurons are firing, will be translated into your expression. So you could be, you're great with, you're a one-man show, one-woman show. You're a chameleon. You can change. You can adapt yourself to the situation very well based on what you are thinking. You have a great, the relationship between the mind and the body is translated so nicely, so beautifully, so effortlessly that sometimes you don't even think and right away your body gives you away. Okay? So you're dazzling to watch, you're electrifying to watch. People probably love to look at you and like observe you and be like, let's see what this person throws now. Now, before I get into the negative part of it, because Saturn shows me that this energy of Gemini is in the minus. You have had past lives where you were in these different positions, where you were able to master your body so well through your mind. And it could have been, that's why I said like magician is one of them, some kind of artistic, some kind of actor, actress, some kind of a performer, somebody who was knew very well how to command its body and make the body do what it wants just through your mind, through the power of your mind. Ambidextrous. Gemini is associated with they say like you're really good with your hands, or so like you're really good with like expressing things with your hands, ambidextrous. The whole body in general, not just the hands. I would say face, eyes, rapid movements, rapid expressions, the legs could also do the same thing. Just the body in general is in constant movement, like a chameleon, shapeshifter. So fun to watch, electrifying to watch, unique style of movement. There's nobody like you, okay? And when I say past lives, if you guys do not connect to that idea, that's fine. Just think of it as habits that you have in you and skills that you have in you that you don't know why you have them, you just have them. And it's like your go-to, your MO in any situation, and you're like, I don't know why, that's how I respond. So I look at it as past lives because you've done those things before, so you're able to accumulate these habits of yours. But if past lives doesn't resonate with you, then kick it out and just deal with it as habits. Like, this is the way I am, I don't know why, it's just the way I am. So, and that's what we're explaining. So you could be great with instruments, because once again, it's the moment of the body. You could be great with like piano, anything to do with musical instruments, anything to do with using your hands to show something, to show an idea. Like the way I'm doing now, I use my hands a lot to express myself. I don't have Gemini in the first, I have Gemini planets. My Mercury, my Venus is in Gemini, so this energy is familiar to me, but not like you. But that would be an example of where you know how to explain yourself with your hands, with the movement of your body. So you, just because Gemini energy can be erratic, so your movements are erratic. So you could have like twitching, or let's say some knee-jerk reaction, something where it's like this, like you'll be standing and then you're like this. It's because that electrifying energy of the mind is like firing through the body too. So sometimes you could have that as well. You are, because Saturn is there, sometimes and it's in the negative because Saturn shows me the energy that's in the minus. So there could be limitations. From what I noticed, Saturn in Gemini, no matter which house it is going to have some kind of limitations, either like Asperger's, Tourette's, some kind of ADD, ADHD, something where there will be a limitation on your, like there will be a limitation on your mind, like something that came easy to you before, in this lifetime it's going to be difficult because the energies was used in the negative before. So now it's almost like there's going to be a limitation on it. So you may have that. I don't know. It could be. But I've noticed with Saturn and Gemini, there's going to be some kind of a limit will be placed on your mental abilities, speaking abilities, maybe like a speech disorder, impairment, something of that nature. Okay. What else? Let's talk some of the other negatives with this position. So because it's the first house, anytime there's the South Node in the first house or Saturn's in the first house, you are going to be a loner of some kind because you're used to lives where you just didn't need anybody. You did your thing, and you didn't need other people. I don't need you guys. I'm my own one man, one woman show. I don't need all of you guys, okay? And so because of that, you became almost like a recluse, a loner, incognito, somebody who, you come in, you dazzle us, we're like, oh my God, so exciting. And then you just disappear. And we're like, oh, we want more, but you're done with us. So that could be that. And because you've done that so much, you've isolated yourself, let's say, why are some of the reasons you isolate yourself? Gemini in the negative is going to think he's smart. He's smarter than others. And one thing you're going to notice as I'm talking, you might be like, no, this is not right. This is not true. No, this is not how it is. So one negative manifestation of Gemini is arguing. Like they will argue with you. Gemini South Nodes and Saturn and Geminis, they will do that. They will, no matter what you say, they will be like, no, it's not like that, because they love that. They love to argue. And the interesting part about Geminis is that they know a lot. You guys are very, very smart people. Very smart people, Saturn and Gemini. Very smart. You know a lot. You know a lot about everything. But the interesting part is that you will pick a position, argue the shit out of it with somebody. Doesn't matter if it's true or not true. You'll be like, nah, it's not true. No, it's not like that. Then the next day, you could switch sides and argue the opposite view with just as much fire and just as much passion as you did the day before. That's the irony. So you're kind of like going from here to here, and you're passionately arguing about it. You love to argue because you do think you are smarter than others, and you think you know it more than we do, and you probably do. But the way you approach it is like I'm a know-it-all, and I'm going to argue the shit out of you. I'm going to poke holes in your argument to prove to you that you're wrong, because for you it's hard to just say, yeah, maybe there's a point here. Maybe they have a point. Maybe she's right. Maybe I got to listen to that. No, for you it's like, no, I know better. The difference between you and your opposite body Sagittarius is that they don't care about opposing views. They know one thing, and they will argue about that. And they won't even argue. They'll just be like, you're stupid, I gotta go. Whereas you will be like, today you're interested in this, and you will fight for this and kill for this. Tomorrow you're interested in that, and you will push that agenda. And the next day you're gonna push another agenda. So you're kind of scattered like that. That's the negative of Gemini. It's like a lot of mental energy that's scattered. So always thinking. Sagittarius, your opposite body, is like, I don't need to read about this or dive into this. I know this, and this is enough for me. And they can dedicate their whole life to this, and they'll kill for this, and they'll argue for this, but there's going to be one thing. It's like that's their negative. So coming back, so what happens? You are fun, we love to watch you, and you dazzle us, and then you disappear. And why do you disappear? Sometimes it could be that, I'm too smart. This is you thinking, I'm too smart for them, they'll never understand me. Or they're too slow for me. We could be too slow for you, literally. I have Mercury in Gemini, and sometimes, the way I process information is fast, and I like that too. And when I encounter somebody who doesn't process as fast, let's say Mercury in Taurus, I'm kind of like, come on, buddy, come on. This is what I mean, you know. So with us, with Gemini, it's quick, 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 and we expect others to keep up with our pace. So when that's not happening, you might say, I don't have time for this. I gotta go. Bye. So we're too slow for you. What else? And yeah, and you know what? You might think like we might slow you down. And you're like, I don't have time for that. I got my own world. Like, you are one man show. You don't need others. You can entertain yourself because you're so much going on here. And so you literally don't need others in a sense. Some of the famous people that have this position, Mick Jagger. Okay, Mick Jagger. We know the phrase, moves like Jagger. Same thing. The movement is, I guess, I never really watched him, but whoever coined that phrase, moves like Jagger, I guess knows that it has to do with just some kind of weird, erratic movement that cannot be explained, but drives all the women crazy. That's what I'm talking about. You're electrifying to watch because your body, you can just do things with your body that we can't, you know, and that's awesome. Next, Louis de Funès. If you guys, younger generation, you may not know him. Older generation, you may. He's an amazing French actor, Louis de Funès. Guy's hilarious. Saturn and Gemini in the first. He was called the man with the 40 faces per minute. So if you watch him, you'll be like, you'll see he's like this. And how he was able to do that? Gemini in the first, you know, complete flowing of mental energy into like facial energy, into body energy. So he's not a tall guy, but he's so electrifying and he's so fun to watch, and he's just busy and he's just always like me. That's busy Gemini energy translated through physical movements. Another one is Joe Pesci is like that. You know, he's like, you know, you see like his lively eyes, you see how he's quick, witty, and just you see that Gemini energy in him. Who else? Orson Welles. He has Saturn and Gemini in the first. And the one thing that I like, that I picked out that works for me for my narrative, is he was a lifelong magician. You know, the guy was very smart, very, very cool, you know, the way he did things. But he was also a magician. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that about him. Who else? Jared Leto. His Saturn is retrograde, so he's probably taking it to another extreme. But in his case, you can see how he's able to transform himself for different roles, and sometimes you won't recognize him. Like, he's a Joker, and then you see him, gosh, I don't remember everything he played, but like Requiem for a Dream, and then you see him in the House of Gucci, where he's completely different weight, mass, and prosthetics, whatever. So he has the ability, he's great at method acting, he's really big on that, and he has the ability to transform himself in a way that you're like, wow, this guy went from this to this, and he's unrecognizable, and he's perfect. Another one who's like that is Christian Bale. I don't know his birth time, so whenever you see his chart, you see Saturn in Gemini, South Node in Gemini. But if we could put him in the first, why not? Because he's also really good at changing his body in a way that will fit, like going, you know, having complete control of his body, and just shape-shifting in a way, because you see him in different roles where you're like, wow, that's Bale, and that's Bale again. But Leto, I think, is much better at it, because Leto would know for sure his is in the first. So yeah, and you have those lively eyes, and he, you know, the way he dresses, the way he's just eccentric, and he's just unique like that. There's nobody like him, you know. Who else? There's a famous French soccer player, Zinedine Zidane. He doesn't play anymore. He coaches, I think, now. But people would describe him, the way he was with the ball, he was like a poet. Gemini, through the body. I like that. So people would say you never know where he would be. One moment he's here, next moment he's there. He did things with the ball that you couldn't imagine. That, you know, how did they call him? They said, he did things with the ball that you've never seen before, and he made it look so easy. Yeah, because once again, the connection between the mind and the body is just so beautiful, electrifying. So yeah, so what do we do with that, guys? You, like I said, with because you're a loner, because you're a recluse in a way, because you've isolated yourself. And why did you isolate yourself? For different reasons. I'm smarter than they are. I don't have time for them. They're boring. They'll drag me down. They'll slow me down. They're way too slow for me. You kind of like, isolated yourself. So the idea could be that you could say, you could long for a partnership, even though you don't need anybody, but inside of you, maybe there's a longing of like, you know what, I would love to maybe have friends. I would love to interact with people. I would love to have a partner too, a relationship, seventh house, like a romantic partner. Because maybe being a loner sometimes gets tiring. You could also see that a great example of transformative of this Saturn is, and I give him as an example in Gemini's South Node in the first, is the professor, El Profesor from Money Heist, where he, very smart guy, very smart, chameleon, shapeshifter. I mean, you saw how he adapted himself to any situation, and he knew so much. And he gets this group of kids and he teaches them different things, brilliant things, because of the master plan that he has in his mind. And because of that, he opens himself to this world, and he ends up finding new friends, and he ends up finding a lover. He falls in love. Whereas before, when he was just a loner, it would have never happened. So in your case, I would say you got to open yourself up to others. You got to get out of that recluse mode and just open yourself up to the world, experiential, because the opposite is Sagittarius in the seventh. So you got to be experiential with this world. You got to open yourself up, If you want that romantic partner, you got to kind of, you are smart, you know a lot. But there's always, a lot about everything. And everything's up here. But what about here? What do you really feel? What do you really want to do? What do you want to experience? Because Sagittarius is about less thinking, more doing, less wondering, more trying, experimenting. Let's go with it and see what happens. Let's say yes and let's see what happens. So that would be the opposite of what, where you're going basically is, experiential involvement with others. And it would be great because you could teach people. Sagittarius North Node, you could be teaching because you do know so much. And let's say like Zidane, he became a coach and he could teach players. He can pass off some of that magic. If you are a magician, which you guys are, you can pass off some of that magic to others. You can teach them, let's say if you're an actor, you can teach them method acting. If you can pass on the skills that of your body, that connection that you have with your body mind. We don't have that, so we could use some of that. So maybe you can find a way to teach that. Maybe you can find something, since you know a lot, maybe you find something that you really pursue, not through your mind, but just through your heart. And I can't explain that, guys, but you would know, because your heart's wanting to go somewhere. It wants something, and maybe that partnership, sometimes a relationship in your case, will be transformative for you because it will take you out of your recluse mode, and you will learn so much more. But it's not going to be mental; it's going to be experiential, and you can teach them something too, and then they can teach you in a way. So whenever you have like first house Saturn or first house South Node, your challenge will be to like open yourself up to the others, interact with them, and it will be great because you can teach them things. They will rub off on you. You will gain experience because a lot of your experience has to do with this, and maybe just your body. Like you're great to look at. You're great to interact. I mean, not to interact, but to watch. But interacting with you is probably difficult because maybe you have a wall. Maybe you're like, I gotta go. I don't have time for you. So in this case, you would be so awesome if you could like open yourself up, start interacting, and you would be so much fun because you could bring all that fun world of yours, in a sense, where you are alone, and bring it to others, open it up to them, and they can say, wow, you're so much fun. Like, why did you never hang out with us before? Like that. I would say that's how I see this. All right, I think that is all. think I've said everything I wanted to say. Some of the negatives I said, like physical limitations, could be anxiety, some kind of tics, you know, twitching like this. That could manifest like that. But anyway, so yeah, so don't be a recluse. Come out because you're fun. You know, people will want to be with you because you are fun. You are. You can be around others, and don't be afraid. We're not going to slow you down. We can all find a great speed that we can all cruise at. So you know, you'll never lose your individuality. You'll never lose your independence. You know, you can always retrieve and do your thing, but just come out. You know, spend time with people, and you'll see that you will have a blast. Just like the professor from Money Heist ended up just his whole life transformed when he opened himself up. Okay? All right, my friends, that is all on this position. I will see you next time. Bye.